Hi, everyone. My name is Cezar Williams. I am the artistic director of the Fire This Time Festival, and this is the Fireside Chat. It is my pleasure to welcome to today's chat Nia Akilah Robinson, whose play Why Jamira Gotta Do All the Work will be featured as part of season 15 of this year's festival in January. Nia, welcome.
What a pleasure. Season 15. That's the one
Season
to be in.
I mean, it's 15 is a big number.
Yes, it is.
I am directing this season for that reason. One, I love the plays. We are so excited to have your play in the piece. I think it really touches on a lot of issues that have kind of existed in the theater world, especially Black theater world, for a while, and it hits them all in 10 minutes. We have issues of colorism. We have conversations about hair, uh, self-hatred. There's all these things, the interpersonal dynamics between women, being young, relationships. It's all in there. So congratulations on a beautiful, beautiful piece.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Why don't we start there? Tell us about your play.
The play came about maybe in 2019, actually, and I've been editing since. So I want to be really generous with the way I write this or present this play to the world. And I have always been fascinated with memories of your 20s and going out, your early 30s and going out, and the deals, broke New Yorkers need to make. So if you go before 5 p.m.,
Yes.
you get in for free. So I just I love those stories of like what it is when you get to the club early, because it's not going to be bumping.
No.
know? So what are those conversations? What is it to have a party friend in which, you don't necessarily confess you're all to, but is someone whom you feel like, we look good together, we go out, we party the same way. We know what our limits are. So you're my
Mhm.
party friend. But like what it means to have that kind of relationship also be something that is maybe not filled with enough empathy
Yes.
or knowledge about the other person's actual view of themselves or the person they're partying with. So that is one of the things I'm very fascinated about in terms of the play and what story we're telling.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, this feeling of how do we treat one another and
Hmm.
how do we treat ourselves at the same time. Um, what would you like the audience to walk away with or to know after seeing your play that they possibly didn't know before?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I have anything that they didn't know before, but I think what I would love to reiterate and reintroduce um, is just regarding the labor others take on to
Hmm.
explain or to level with people who they care about or people who have a skewed opinion of the world and what emotional toil that takes. Um,
Yes.
especially when it's the person who could definitely be in your family, cookout.
Hmm.
We all got um, and so, or at least, chosen family, your family, like where is everybody under the sun who shows up, but at the same time, what is that labor we take on when we choose to spend that hour with someone else who has a different lived experience?
Yeah.
Um, but I hope that they take away what it means, what emotional toil it takes to have to explain, to have to correct, or to have to give just new perspectives that are ancient, uh,
Hmm.
that are not new, but continues to be a problem
Yes.
in our world.
What I like about it is it's a two-hander. Um, Jamira and Kiana are the two characters, and they're both black. And very often we think about that dynamic in terms of, people of different races or maybe even different genders or different political stripes. But here you have two black women, and even they have to carry that burden. There's a lovely moment where after all this toil and trouble and struggle has happened, I believe as Kiana really says, apologizes and acknowledges the challenge for Jamira to express or to have to explain themselves. So I think that's really, really lovely. A wonderful job. What other projects are you working on? What are you excited about? What are you passionate about today?
What I'm currently working on is a support group play. Um, and I can't necessarily go into it because when you go into it, and you're still writing it, I want to make sure I still feel the ambition to finish.
Yes.
So I know it is a support group. I know that there are three folk, well, technically five, but
Hmm.
three people who we're spending a lot of time with.
Okay.
Uh, and yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to. It's due to Juilliard on December
Okay.
12th. So we have a good deadline. Writers love a deadline,
Love
at
a
least.
deadline. And that one is 2 weeks away.
Yes. So, some people don't love the deadline, but I like the deadline. So I'm very excited to at one point, most likely when this comes out, having been proud of myself that
Yes,
I doggone finished that play.
exactly. This is pre-recorded, folks. So by the time you see this, this will have happened. And it
I
will
hope so.
already have been a success. God willing.
Thank
God,
you.
God willing.
Thank you.
Um, so you wrote Why Jamira Got to Do All the Work in 2019. Did the pandemic impact you, change you as an artist, or how did it change you, if at all?
The club shut down. Well, some people were still clubbing.
Yes, some people were.
Let me put that out there. I stopped clubbing. So
Yes.
my editing came post. Not that I was all up in the club because I was not.
Well, that's what it sounds like, but I
It
understand
sounds
that's not true.
no, definitely not true. But I of course have gone to a club before. I'm in New York.
Research.
Research.
Yes.
Um, so when I was writing this play, I didn't have an idea of anything that this world is now
Mhm.
faced with. And so the way it definitely impacted my editing. I know I've edited that play multiple times.
Mhm.
Um, and the different iterations just had to do with um, recognizing when the emotional labor is too much. And I think
Mhm.
maybe that is or when some people have chosen to give up, because I just remember in the past few years, so many of the conversations are surrounding, okay, you don't have to sit across from them anymore. You
Yeah.
can choose to not go to that family dinner. You can choose to not go out with that person anymore because it's just too much sometimes.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it being, but if we don't have those conversations, where does the empathy come in? Where do we break bread and break ground? Because if you know someone who's directly impacted, most likely you will be impacted by just hearing their story or hearing their side of things, hopefully. Um, or positively impacted. I correct myself on that. Um, and so I think the iterations that it's taken is like when it's become too much for Jamira, when it's become too much for Kiana, and when we're thinking about colorism, when we're examining those conversations and those dynamics, I've been trying to be really um generous because
Mhm.
the actors are people, who have to play these roles. And I am always, when it comes to this subject matter and this play, always open to how did that make you feel? Are you tired? Are we excited by this conversation? Making it more of a conversation and less of a play that is
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah. You mentioned your family. Where are you from?
I'm from Harlem, born
Mm,
and raised. My grandmother raised my mom, who raised me in the same Harlem apartment. So, generationally, so we've all lived there, and it is a great honor. It's the best place in the world.
I assume you still live in Harlem.
I certainly do.
Good. Good. What were you like as a child?
My mother said that I was very quiet. Like I didn't cry. I allowed her to get a good night's sleep. And then I was just like up waiting for her. And I didn't bother her. I would come in the room or she would come in the room. My gosh. She would come in the room and then I would just be like, so, but I also didn't smile in photos. So like that was me as a child. Um,
Okay.
we didn't smile in photos, but very sweet. Um, but then growing older I feel more, so I maybe the tears I didn't cry as a baby are allowing life now or
Yes.
having a slight life now I can feel now, um but no, it doesn't overtake me which is good.
Okay. Yes.
um but yeah, I think I was a little cool cat.
If you went to Target and you could buy a time machine
Ooh.
and you could go back to say 10-year-old you, what would you tell your childhood self?
I guess I would just tell her, um, keep hope alive. I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, I love the arts. So I would say probably just keep hope alive. Like the world is, complicated and, but there's some slither of hope that I wish for everyone. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and there are times where there is no hope or you feel hopeless. Um, not that my 10-year-old self felt that, but I guess reflecting to today,
Yeah.
and why I would tell myself, or what my 10-year-old self would need to know is like there's so much that goes on in the news. There's so much that goes on in the world. There's frightening things that happen. But uh, I guess I would want my 10-year-old self who watched the news all the time coming home at like 5 p.m. or something and seeing the news and being frightened.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, keep hope alive. That's what I would tell myself.
Is there anything else you would like to share about yourself, about your work, um, other projects, your teaching, anything?
I would love to share that in late January through very early February. So, like the 30th, 31st, and the 1st, I will be presenting at the Juilliard School. Being a graduating second year, we have a um, festival called Norman Fest in which we present a full length play. And so that is something I would love everyone to know about.
All right. Everyone, please come check out Nia Akilah Robinson's work at Juilliard in late January, early February. And thank you, Nia, for coming on the Fireside Chat with us. I want to thank our audience for watching and not only come see the Juilliard project, but please, please, please come check out season 15 of the Fire This Time Festival, which will be running January 18th through the 28th of 2024 at the Wild Project on the Lower East Side. I can guarantee you, you're going to have a great time. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye bye.